Yeah. You know, we seek that higher knowledge. Only the ignorant can't relate. You just kill them with love instead of hate. That's what it's about.
We are Moors.
Shout out to the Grand Sheik. Cujo Hill, Iron Sheik. Yeah.
We are Moors. Heard what I said? Circle 7 snap back, not just affairs. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Blue, white, green fairs, not just red. We are Moors. Heard what I said? Keep talking reckless and muftis for your head. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Your slave name crest might have a Moor head. We are Moors.
20 Moors rockin', you could call them Moroccans. Race here west at death, let's get it poppin'. Got a problem with my sheep? Got a problem with me. I be on the front line rolling, 23 deep. I be studying for hours, 7 days a week, working on my higher self, cause the devil don't sleep. Big up to Cujo L, that's the Iron Sheik. 7's up, facing the east, praising Allah. Astrology, cosmology, that's the real law. I slow roast ya, master the flame like Zoe Roaster. The rise of the new Moors, old heads move over. That Kundalini energy rising up like a cobra. This is training day, mount up with real soldiers. Elevate beyond the hate and claim your lost estate. The only reason you hate is you too blind to relate. The only reason you hate is you too blind to relate.
We are Moors. Heard what I said? Circle 7 snap back, not just affairs. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Oh, I can hat, just a turban, no affairs. We are Moors. Heard what I said? Keep talking reckless and muftis for your head. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Your slave name crest might have a Moor head. Stop talking crazy. You can't be everything but Moors. That's like willing to stay minority and not mature. Therefore, touch to be great taught the world don't respect you. However, since you wanna be it, you go down when they fall. They, the ones you call government, that's really a corpse. Black man means funeral director. Should make sense, of course. Music is the food and the message, the medicine. Humble food is poison. I'm with the golden era veterans like Mob D, condolences, QB, RIP prodigy, who studied the history of the Moors and etymology. You missed the Corsica headband, disguised down to bandana. Moorish MC, the real Moroccan, not a French Montana. Kendrick Lamar, you Sarah, trust me, Hebrew's a language. Lupe put Moors in his video, made the point vantage. Yassine Bey knows Sabebe, knows Moorish master MC. Fruquan Bey and Daddy IU are on some Moorish degrees. Sprague and Bojuno, they even killed Peter because of Macintosh. Still visit digable planets, hip-hop astronauts. Milky Way flow, rays of tassels, blind unbelievers. To higher than other senses, to still pick up the frequency. Pick your addiction, truth will still make itself known. To go platinum now, you gotta give up more plus your soul. Watch Professor build pyramids, I watch Drink Champ steady. Cause Nori said you Ali on a track, so call me petty. Also more exec produced the War Report album. Aboriginal Super Cat taught me how to hang and scalp them. Operation Lockdown, video feathers like I said to do. Initiate invasions, activate at doors every spook. We are Moors. Heard what I said? Circle 7 snap back, not just affairs. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Blue, white, green fairs, not just red. We are Moors. Heard what I said? Keep talking reckless and muftis for your head. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Your slave name crest might have a Moor head. We are Moors. We are Moors. Heard what I said? We are Moors. Heard what I said? Heard what I said? Heard what I said? We are Moors. We are Moors.
As he walked past the city's castle, he interrupted his return and climbed the stone ramp that led to the top of the wall. From there, he could see Africa in the distance. Someone had once told him that it was from there the Moors had come to occupy all of Spain.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy. 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 Crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy.
What you looking up for, God? I'm talking to you. Weed smelling like dead bodies, loving a shoot. Baby goats popping out for government checks. To the honorable moms, no disrespect. I'm not talking about the matriarch, but what the deadbeat dad, fake comrade, two-faced nigga, stab you in your back multiple times. Homicides and manslaughter, a friendship on the rise. Watch the gods with pseudo doctrines, fake shades. I stay back and listen to old school saying. Around the gardens, always have a bag of crystals in demons' faces, amethyst missiles. 30 more teach the factors will make you official. When study is beneficial.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy. Crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy. Crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy. Crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy.
Enslaved by your own, didn't listen to prophet. Now you're living in sin. One tube, I can't stop it. You made your bed, lay down. Now you sleep standing. Notwithstanding in a dead status, birthright's abandoned. Rather stay dirty instead of turning your card in. Then take your fares off if you're not turning your card in.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. The gods must be crazy. Standing on the rock, Morocco. Here we go. Moa by Mo. Grand shit cool, Joe. Let's flow.
Up from the grave, no longer in the dead state. Colonization claimed my consciousness, but now I'm awake. Broke the chains of being ignorant, I stand on the truth. Competent in my proper person, rocking the boot. Navigating through the waters in the leanable right. The seven seas, all I sent me, so I'm bringing the light. Can't rewind the hands of time, so I'm expanding my space. I'm from one human family, the human race. My pedigree is in my blood, I'm forever a Moor. Asiatic mobile body, sound I'm ready for war. She redeems when I speak to she, I'm speaking to me. Assisting and helping uplifting fallen humanity. For the record, on the record, neither Negro or black or troglodyte. My people suffering, we only attack. My people perish from true knowledge, we so desperately lack. So why in the hell would I want to go back? Nope. Can't go back to that. Being a slave of my mentality. Broke the chains that were bound to me. Listen to me now. Can't go back to that. I'm on the left, you're on the right, and the light. Melanated radiation is bright.
Yeah, we don't regress but progress. Crystals back to no stress. With the feds of not liberate the mind's oppressed. Staring at a wall in a hole, show you a ladder. Which is not a thing you climb, but your seven chakras. Ask Jacob. 5 up, assalamu alaikum. Left foot first, so standing on the square, take them. The opposite of get out black holes into light. So marvelous, you get scared from fright. False and light, tonight appears real, you just might. Sit in a trap, can't move, just paralyzed. Paralysis that you only get if you sleep. Your heights are so deep, the depths are so deep. Intelligent hoodlums and arrest the presidency. 2 shots for drink champs, Nori knows Drew Ali. Calling us in Babo step, you think like the colonists. Even though Nostradamus told you what your problem is.
Can't go back to that. Being a slave of my mentality. Broke the chains that were bound to me. Listen to me now. Can't go back to that. I'm on the left, you're on the right, and the light. Melanated radiation is bright. Can't go Melanated radiation is bright. I rise to give honor to Allah, the father of the universe, to Noble Drew Ali, to Grand Sheik, Cujo Awo L, Canaanland Moors, for sharing this mic with me, Temple number 5, to my son, my firstborn, for producing this track, Hassani Mosar, 206, also known as Preach to God, and to DJ Funk Daddy, the best in the West, Washington Republic, and to my emperor, Islamism.
And conscious means that you're conscious of what's going on in this world. You're fully aware and awake to what's going on in the world. That's what conscious rap means. So if you got conscious rap, that means you got unconscious rap. That means you got motherfuckers that's unconscious rapping. That means they sleeping. They still under the spell of Leviathan. They still under the spell of King.
Call me brother man, I'm not the rubber man. Though I keep my Nazis in affairs wrapped with some rubber bands. Burning out the Ku Klux Klan and with the Grand Dairy Queen misters. Just butts of guns I'm giving, trying to make more sovereign citizens. These minions help kill your prophet, stole your treasury millions. You heard it from your brother man, now the smothers sell out. Test links in K2 Kush days, keep me red out. I got the knowledge to make these silly hoes question the pimping directors of music videos. Gaylords and persons with strap-on boots with heels. Too much graphic art faces, boobs are not real. Since MCM and Troop, they use Timberland boots to get us all caught up in fashion, not the simple men roots. Got our people on dogmatic, not metaphysic. Exoteric, not esoteric is how you missed it. So out of it, you couldn't feel the natural mystic blowing through the air like it didn't give a shit. I hear the dirty Moors dissing, cause I said profanities. A lot of these grand sheets need to take off the panties. Pull the thong out your crack vest wearing sash, ass nigga. Return to where the prophet found you, Negro, ass nigga.
It's time to choose a side. You either positive or you negative. You either evil or you good. You understand what I'm saying? Choose a side, nigga. I know what side I'm on.
I throw a Molotov at the priest that works for the beast. All they want is our people to rest in peace. No attention of allowing more stress to ease. Cracker won't go home to spread himself the disease. Genocidal epidemic kill us in high proportions. Instead of mummified, we stay boxed in coffins. Mayors attend funerals for PR purposes. Where's the police escort? He replied with nervousness. He said, I don't have those numbers or connections to have Metro Police lead your friend's funeral procession. That's coming from Mr. Mayor, black community player, no question in the hoods, dropping off boxes of weapons. Then blame black on black crime or natural causes. Plus those doctors are not on point but off a bit. Natural mystics prove they're not holistic. Hypocrite oaths make your children autistic.
I'm at the point now, I'm saying, I'm tired of mixing medicine with the food. I'm tired of playing that game. Now I'm shoving straight medicine down your fucking throat, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Straight doses of medicine that didn't shove down your throat. I don't give a fuck if it turns you off or not. But if it do turn you off, you're a stupid, ignorant motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Don't judge like a cover of your favorite book. Visit you in your dream hand with the hook. Paralysis overtook. So shook, stop, look, listen with precision. MC on the mission, vision, past senses and endless. Cypher with active mods, beat you with facts senseless. Have your mind defenseless when the truth enters. I blow, reminds me of Omar Bay, Algonquin embers. Tap your pie and reel out what some man remembers. All the lies told to your mind dismembers. Circle broken into quadrants, either 7 and the center compass G between the square. Baphomet of Templars, warlock, call on my witch mothers to maim them. The same wise spirits burned at stakes in Salem. Torture with vagina pair, survive, bobbing for apples. Contort thumb slide, wrist out, tight shackles.
I always got something deep to say. Every time around. I always got something deep to say. Every time around. I always got something deep to say. Every time around. I always got something deep to say. Every time around.
Man, I see the strongest and smartest men who've ever lived. I see all this potential. I see swamp. God damn it, an entire generation pumping gas. waiting tables, slaves with white collars.
Marcus Garvey got my right, Drew Ali got my left side. Hook pulling for devil's hides with a rally of death stride. Blade dirty like it doesn't shower, tongue is the sword. Morris Master MC Moore, SFM Lord. Accent of Tony Martin and Kwame Ture. They poison Steve Coakley, exposing the black boule. Threatening Ivan Van Sertima with deportation. To his own land he's in, so you know some Masons are pulling strings to shut him up for saying Olmecs. Speaking the truth of those existing before Toltecs and Aztecs and Mayan. So-called blacks are the Hawaiian and the American and the few white man. Stop the blood clot crying. Irish nigga fighting a dancing monkey. Disgrace the race, slap a mumble rap chunky. Take your mask off, show you the future, give you nervous sweats. Listen to yourself singing about Molly and Percocets.
Advertising has us chasing cars and clothes. Working jobs we hate, so we can buy shit we don't need.
I see y'all wearing skinny jeans and sagging and sports bra shirts, calling Hochi to bury them in Calgary far outskirts, too grizzly to bear. I fear falling off this frisbee, I swear. Never mind sight impaired, stay on my square. 7 and 4 quadrant ring. I'm on my knees, not praying. I'm strangling gin with Rudraksha beads. Some might say mala, some might call it a Buddhist chain. In times of war, everything is a weapon just the same as everything above has it below. Check the facts and stone her if you can find one. Ask a pharaoh what Orion and Sirius have to do with the plateau of Giza. Ancestors thought project place to place like Frieza. More scientists, Sufi, shut up when non-believers. Make those with little faith become ancestral receivers. Keep signs and symbols, rhymes and signals. Either abandon or get your birthright like a retriever. Abandon or get your birthright like a retriever. No need to bring it back, you need no shepherd. Stop being a sheep, black, stop wasting effort. Stop letting traders chill, drop them off in deserts. I buzz at dinner, a sellout. Before I get the hell out, I listen to what Drew Ali taught, he didn't have to yell out. Ref, bring the bell out, Shango, the chicken heads out. Merge shaman stones and tiger eyes, help the spell out. Cool Bay, the reason El Shabazz and Ali fell out. More's disgruntled and watching people with brows crumble to be exalted, but praise themselves, never humble. Begging for props, what the segregation, but calling the cops, then calling them racist after someone gets shot or beat to a pulp or choked out. R.I.P. Their ancestors let their devil self haunt their dreams. Tortured forever and ever, have peace never. So low, make their head and with biometric pressure.
Children of history, man. No purpose in place. We have no Great War, no Great Depression. Our Great War is a spiritual war. Our Great Depression is our lives.
And you see, student, this is to my wonderful students. I want to introduce you to someone extremely special. This is the vessel that brought your massive force, Nipsey Hussle. And can you say his name properly?
Yes. Ermias Joseph Asghedom. Ermias Joseph Asghedom.
Ermias Joseph Asghedom.
Yes.
And I've given her some of your kind words, and I'm referring to my students who have spent this entire week sending her so much love and energy. And I know that you guys are working on art projects for her, and I will make sure that she gets it to you. But she has some words for you, and I just want to let her speak.
Hello, students. I'm Ermias's mother. Ermias is Nipsey Hussle. And I want you to know that I am so happy. And that Ermias is here with me right now. I feel him. His spirit is right here with me. And I want you to know that death is not to be feared. I want you to know that we are spiritual beings first. And we're having a physical experience which only lasts for a moment in time. When you die, as they call it. You are just becoming a baby in your spirit. You are just beginning to live your eternal life that never dies. Ermias will never die. You have him in your heart. Every time you think of Ermias, he lives. Right? His spirit is everywhere now. You can talk to him, and he will talk back to you in your mind. You remember him, and you will be able to feel his presence. I don't want you to be traumatized. I want to tell you, Ermias was more beautiful in death than he was in life. Ermias was beautiful in death than he was in life. I don't want you to be traumatized. I want to tell you, Ermias was more beautiful in death than he was in life. Ermias didn't have any marks on him when I viewed him. His hair was perfect. There was not one strand of hair that was out of place. All of the love and all of the compassion and all of the caring and the truthfulness and the generosity and the honesty, all of the compassion, just all of the good things that were inside of Ermias' heart is as if they lifted off of his heart and they transferred to his face. His face was beautiful and had complete peacefulness. Beautiful. I looked at him and I said, that's my angel baby. Because now he's a baby in the spirit world. He's beginning his life in the spirit world. Death is not to be feared. Death is something to prepare yourself for. And when you walk this earth and you do good deeds for people.
Pardon the interjection. Just want to put this in there since people like to play games. Death and Burial of Elizabeth Matheno's Lessons, the Ministry of Death. When John was 12 years old, his mother died, and neighbors laid her body in the tomb among her kindred in the Hebron burying ground and near Zachariah's tomb. And John deeply grieved. He wept. Matheno said, "It is not well to weep because of death. Death is no enemy of man. It is a friend who, when the work of life is done, just cuts the cord that binds the human boat to earth, that it may sail on smoother seas." Let's put that in there.
And when you walk this earth and you do good deeds for people and you are loving and kind, those are the things that will show on your face. You will look more beautiful. Ermias looked healthy. He looked clean. He had a glow. He was radiant. And he was so perfect that he had a sweet aroma. Oh, he had a sweet aroma. He even smelled good. Wow. So please do not fear death. Death is just the beginning of a wonderful world. And I tell myself, Ermias liked thrilling things. And now my son knows the mystery, the secret rather, to the mystery of life. Ashe.
Ashe, that is such a beautiful gift. And I don't mind, do you mind sharing with them what happened the minute I walked in the door? Just a few moments ago.
Okay. When
Miss Harvey,
Miss Harvey,
so Eleanor.
When Eleanor walked in the door, I looked at her and she looked like a queen. And I was just amazed at her beauty. And I was just saying, oh my God, I love how she's dressed. She looks like a real, beautiful queen. I want to know where I can get that style from. And as she was coming in the door, she stumbled. It's a tricky double step. And I ran towards her and I tried to catch her to keep her from, to break her fall, to keep her from falling. And then she went and sat down on the other couch, and the lady, my friend, brought her back here and told me that she's my cousin.
That's right.
It's
That's
amazing.
right. It is amazing. It's so beautiful.
She's been texting her mother, and I was inviting her mother and Miss
Harvey.
Yes.
Eleanor
to attend my son, Ermias, Nipsey Hussle's funeral services. And you see, students, don't fear. When you live your life and you have God on your side, when God dwells inside of you, there is no fear. Everything is in perfect order. Everything is in the divine, perfect order of our Creator. And we have perfect peace. I have perfect peace, and I have strength. And I want to lift you up. Please do not stay down. Do not stay stuck.
Many of them are stuck.
Do not mourn, because Nipsey is great.
He is the great.
He is the great. And now he is even greater.
Yes, he is.
Because he has no bounds and no limits. His energy is everywhere. He can touch. He's there with you now, and he's here with me now.
That's true.
And please be encouraged. Please be encouraged. He was beautiful. He did not look scary. He did not look like he was shot. None of that. None of the trauma, the way that he left this earth, none of that showed on his face. He looked like a radiant, clean, beautiful,
light being.
Yes. 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 Nothing negative, nothing low. Everything light and bright and up in the heavens.
That's right. And as we continue to celebrate him, I'm sending all of the love from all of my students and every single person, even in the music industry. I'm speaking to you on behalf of O'Brien. I'm speaking to you on behalf of Jill Jones and other people from my Prince family who are also sending you their love and their light, and they have just been holding you up, and we have got you. From here on out, there's nothing but family for you throughout the world. I'm speaking to you on behalf of Dr. Umar Johnson and also my family in Atlanta, which is Dr. Sadie's family. He and I walked this earth together. And the fact that your son was willing to bring his presence into the ether yet once again and lift him up the way that he did has meant so much to us. I'm speaking on behalf of Annette Thomas and Red and Blue Pill, and also someone who did cats and artwork for your son. His name is Keenan Chapman. He has been doing wonderful things and painted a beautiful mural for your son in Atlanta. So on behalf of everyone, we love you so much. Thank you for listening and catching me, and know that we've got you. We love you so much.
Oh,
Uncle Jackson Ed.
Ashe. This is Mars. Canaanland Mars Tuesday sessions. The usual. Honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, the mastermind. Brought us out of the mental slums into paradise. So, moms dropping the lesson. Moms dropping the lesson. The spiritual lesson. The spiritual lesson on death. Same stuff Noble Drew Ali was telling these people. Same thing. And keep in mind, certain people had nationality and stuff like that. They weren't playing around Negro, black, and all that. No matter what kind of flag they were waving, they had nationality. They understood family, unity. Now, Islam to the Moors, who nobody even knows about, that came out that same thing and did the same type of work. Same thing. Unifying our people. Doing for humanity. Unifying our people. Making sure that they do for humanity and unify our people. Making sure that they do for humanity and unify the people. And it's going to be demonstrated in the works and deeds of the people. Because we already know who's playing around, because they're not with the liberation. They want to play games. So let them play their games. And let us, who know we have something to do here, do what we have to do. Now again, we're giving honors to the prophet because we know that he gave us so many keys that we're still trying to figure out what it is that he brought. Still trying to figure out what it is that he brought. But he gave us keys for us to be able to find our way out of the true wilderness of North America. Not the continent, like certain people talk, talking against their own birthright. Talking about the wilderness of a mind that's not being used properly. Because of simple things like sticking to the principles. Why are you wavering? So Noble Drew Ali gave the Moors the nationality card. He told the Moors, this is a nationality and identification card for the Moorish Science Temple of America and birthrights for the Moorish Americans. We honor all the divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. Now again, Islam to the Moors that study. And keep using what Noble Drew Ali brought as the reference point. Now that's on these Moors' nationality card. They say that they're with the temple or whatever. They say they're with the Moorish nation. Drew Ali brought things that came from ones before him. That's how you know it's foolproof. Now when we look at Prophet Confucius, and you look at Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, you realize they're talking the same stuff. They're talking about nationhood and family. They're talking unity. They're talking everything. We don't need to go to outsiders when we could do it for self. And we have self to do it. All these relative jurisdictions. intellectual jurisdictions that will really help you get your house in order. So when Drew Ali told Morris that this is divine, this is part of what he was talking about. This is why you don't see them give Confucius his honors and call him prophet. They'll give him his honors. They only play the religion BS when it comes to prophets. No. Don't even try that. So I wanted to give him some energy today. Oh yeah. And we're going to be doing the interview with the more that came from the gangbanger stuff. But the big OG says not time yet. So on the strength, he's humbling. But when he's ready, we'll let Morris know what's up. This is what Confucius brought. The perfectibility of man and the moral role of government. The dominant strain of Confucian thought stressed the perfectibility of man. Confucius expressed a belief in the fundamental similarity of all persons and in the perfectibility and educability of each individual. Mencius and Sun and Hun Tzu, two of his prominent successors, held different views on human nature. Mencius arguing that it contained the seeds of goodness, and Sun Tzu that in its uncultivated state, human nature tended to evil. In its uncultivated state, human nature tended to evil. Both, however, believed that human beings were perfectible through self-cultivation and the practice of ritual. Again, we're bringing it back again to Noble Drew Ali. Face the East, say the prayer, ritual. Practice, 101 questionnaire. Question and the answer. So you don't even have to do anything. But go study. Right? Which is another, which is a ritual again. Because by you studying, you're invoking the spirits within. Because you don't know what the brain's going to tap into when you read something unknown. You're not going to know till you get to that, to there. Or the cultivated state, where the human nature is going to look at evil and laugh. Because you already know that it's not evil, it's the lower self trying to make you think evil or do evil. Both, however, believe that human beings were perfectible through self-cultivation and the practice of ritual. From the 11th century onward, Neo-Confucian philosophers engaged in the renewal and elaboration of Confucian thought, subscribed to the Mencian line, stressing the potential goodness of human nature and the importance of developing that goodness through education. Noble Drew Ali told these Moors to go get a good European education. Why? Because then I can use you. Because right now you're a dumb Negro. So at least if you go there, you're going to get a little something so that I could take you the rest of the way. Because I could do nothing with you as a Negro. You're useless. You at least have to have, an education. If you never had one, you better go get one. Whether you go to the library every day for 8 hours or whatever like that, do your little stuff just like school, ring the bell, you know what I mean, go for your break, come back and all that. But you need to have education in order, according to the Confucian idealists, you have to have education in order to activate that goodness of the human nature that will allow you to go out looking like nothing happened, smelling like myrrh and frankincense when you leave the plane. Belief in the innate goodness and perfectibility of man has had strong implications for the development of the Chinese political system. The ruler's main function in the Confucian state was to educate and transform the people. This was ideally accomplished not by legal regulation and coercion, but by personal rule, moral example, and mediation in disputes by the emperor and his officials. Confucian political theology emphasized conflict resolution through mediation, rather than through the application of abstract rules to establish right and wrong in order to achieve social harmony. This is the same thing Noble Drew Ali said about enforce the Constitution. Enforce the Constitution. Enforce the Constitution. What's he saying? They don't need the abstract rules and some establishment of what's right and what's wrong through some act, codes, ordinances, or whatever. And then if they are going to create these things, then that's only going to apply to people in that jurisdiction. Which is why he gave these Moors their nationality card and put Confucius names on it. Because he's even tying you to that sense of moral government. Forget constitutional government. How about the government of morality? Where you do wrong, you cut your own hand off. Forget executioner guy. You hold the string on the guillotine and you pull the stuff if you do some BS. Guarantee we go moral, people straighten up quick fast. But again, everybody wants something out of the Moorish movement without putting anything in. So we can't even put the scimitar to them. Because they're already looking at it. As soon as you grab the scimitar, they're looking at it as something against them. Not that their moral compass is effed up. And the whole reason that it's effed up is because you're not following what Noble Drew Ali brought to you. So that you can get yourself in order. Me included. Not just everybody's involved. And fix your BS. Because there's a standard of morality that we have to have as Moors. Like we're saying, the same Moor that we were doing the interview with, right? That these people know the history or whatever. As a noble Moor, as a noble Moor, he would present himself on principles to these people. And they'll fight it, fight it, fight it, don't want to deal with it, kidnap, whatever. But we know that you're still in the whatever and you're trying to do stuff still. Years ago, Moore left the thing. But because of the moral code, because of the upstanding Moor that he is, he had connection with another Moor who said, hey, try this. See what this does. Because he already knows, you know what I mean? This is not some out in the open, everybody know what this is. Because Moors out here have no moral code. So select people are going to have to, so because of his moral code, he got an underground connect with regard to Moorish information. That he just got the letter 2 days ago. So everything done. Don't worry, sorry. Bye. Don't want to see you ever again. Like Juali was putting us on a standard that you start being not just Noble Juali thought, but Confucian thought, Yahshua thought, Muhammad thought, Quetzalcoatl thought, Heru thought. You go down the line. You got thousands of prophets to pick from as an example of how to be. Forget how not to be. We're not even going into how about do the stuff you're supposed to do? Especially with regard to your Moorish movement, your Moorish nation, your Moorish empire. Especially with regard to that, you better be doing something for this. And we get the microwave style. You know, people want the quick stuff. People want to fix their problems now. It took them 5 years to get into the problem they're in, but tomorrow, Moorish whatever is gonna alleviate that. It doesn't work like that. You're dealing with corrupt people who violated Confucius. That's why they don't call him prophet. Because what he presented. Think about this standard that government itself has a moral role. Forget the stuff that it's going to create and all that. There's a moral role. There's a moral role of government. Remember, Noble Drew always said, brothers from the east and all that's gonna come and save us. I think where he's from is the east and stuff like that. And we're using his stuff in the Americas. I think that would mean somebody else's stuff is being used for us to save ourselves. Regardless of what flag is being represented, think about that thing living by the moral road opposed to the statutes, ordinance, codes, acts, and whatever else they create that they do now and force on people. under the guise of that's government. That's how government runs. The belief that the state was the moral guardian of the people was reflected in a number of institutions. Most important among these was the merit bureaucracy, or civil service, in which all officials were to be selected for their moral qualities, qualities that would enable them not only to govern, but to set a moral example that would transform the people. All officials now think about this structure. You have the government that is using morals in order to conduct the affairs. The people who are conducting the affairs that are known as officials, they're only in the seat because of their moral whatever, not because they know somebody, not because they paid some whatever, no, because by their moral code. Isn't this the same stuff that Noble Drew Ali was telling these Morons? Watch your works and your deeds. Don't go in the alleyway with your fez and stuff like that, because certain things give a certain perception. Trying to get us to be in a certain standard. So we can really exercise what this is supposed to really be. Because Confucianism was a moral system, the Confucian classics had to be mastered by prospective officials. Official position and examination degree, not wealth or business acumen, were universally recognized marks of status. For centuries, Confucius has been a source of inspiration for people of China and East Asia, educated and illiterate. He has served as an example of how life can be well lived. This is not only because of his words and deeds, but because of the total personality expressed in those words and deeds. As you read the following selections, try to imagine how Confucius' students or disciples must have felt about him, and how you might have felt about him if you had been among them. And remember, keep in mind that we're talking about Prophet Confucius, who nobody says Prophet Confucius. He's a teacher, philosopher, they call him all types of stuff. Keep in mind your teachings from your prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And pay close attention to the relations of the teachings. It's like instruments in a band. Everything goes together. But each instrument has its part to play, that it has to play to a certain precision. in order for you to get something that you could say, yeah, we're going to run with this. All these instruments doing the same thing differently and making something beautiful, making something tolerable. And when we're talking about government and stuff like that, we're talking about self. We're talking about for you to be Confucius. Confucius said, at 15, my mind was set on learning. At 30, I had no more perplexities. At 50, I knew the will of heaven. At 60, I was at ease with whatever I heard. At 70, I could follow my heart's desires without transgressing moral principles. One of Confucius' disciples asked about the superior man. He acts before he speaks, and then speaks according to his action, Confucius said. Confucius said, he who learns but does not think is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in danger. He who learns but does not think is lost. He who learns and does not think is lost. Again, because those things go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. You can't just be an information hoarder without applying the information. And the application of the information heavily relies on you thinking about the information. If you're just an info hoarder, no application, then you're lost. But then the thinker guy, the guy who has no time to take a chill pill and breathe for a minute. Just breathe for a sec. He's not learning because he's constantly thinking. And again, you can't have one without the other. And the danger of overthinking is insanity. The danger of not knowing what you're supposed to do. And you're just wandering. You're just a wandering soul out here. Don't worry. They got soul catchers. They love wanderers who aren't grounded. Confucius said, you, shall I teach you knowledge? To say that you know when you do know, and say that you do not know when you do not know, that is the way to acquire knowledge. To say that you know when you do know, and say that you do not know when you do not know, that is the way to acquire knowledge. So don't get mad when people tell you go study. when you see more start taking knowledge seriously, and more start realizing that knowledge is really where it's at, not about anything else. I get, the other stuff is very tempting, and but especially right knowledge, nothing beats getting that. But you have to know you don't know so you can get many mores. And it's mostly the mores who are going to sell you some package or whatever. Don't know. That's why they sell you the package. Because after they sell you the package, you're not getting a hold of them again. You're not finding them. Because that's a game. Because people who lack knowledge are prey. And they get preyed on by people who are supposed to be their brother and sister. Confucius said, "A superior man in dealing with the world is not for anything or against anything. He follows righteousness as the standard." What's that saying? The path. You stay on the path, you're good. That's all. What's the path? The path is righteousness. The path to be on. No, well, what do you mean? Because, I really want to be a holistic, because I was inspired by, the master teacher of the... Is that righteous to you? Then go study. That's your path. Go all in. From the righteousness perspective. Don't play around though. Don't play around. Confucius said, San, another name for disciple, Seng Su. There is one thread that runs through my doctrines. Seng Su said, yes. After Confucius had left, the disciples asked him, what did he mean? Seng Su replied, the way of our master is none other than loyalty and reciprocity. Note, reciprocity involved not treating others in any way you would not want to be treated. That's universal laws, cause and effect, law of correspondence, law of gender. For every action, there's an opposite reaction. So watch your action, because it's boomerang. And again, if you're doing things righteous, then you shouldn't have any issues. Majority are not doing things righteously. Right? There is one thread that runs through my doctrine, is the same thing as every living thing is bound by a cord. Everything's there for us to make the relation and superpower the teachings. Because now, just like the mother said, he's everywhere. He found out the secret. The secret to life is living righteous, doing for others. Like the Moor was saying on Sunday, be a martyr. Confucius is everywhere, still. The superior man understands righteousness. The inferior man understands profit. And that's Profit, not the other one. The superior man understands righteousness, higher self. The inferior man, lower self, understands profit. So you're thinking that all these people that have multiple numbers after the comma in their bank account are somebody, when all those people are inferior men. Think about that. For all those people to be superior, they have to empty their account. Some people just love being inferior. Don't want to rock boats and stuff like that. They let Aaliyah rock their boat though, but they're not gonna rock the boat with them finance. Confucius said, I transmit, but do not create. I believe in and love the ancients. I venture to compare myself to our old Peng, an official of the Shang dynasty, who loved to recite old stories. P''ENG. Now you know the Shang dynasty wasn't some yellow people. I transmit, but do not create. I transmit, but do not create. I do not enlighten those who are not eager to learn, nor arouse those who are not anxious to give an explanation themselves. If I have presented one corner of the square and they cannot come back to me with the other three, I should not go over the points again. I do not enlighten those who are not eager to learn, nor arouse those who are not anxious to give an explanation themselves. Right? That's one of the ones where Moors go underground. Because people only want, and give nothing. Not give you any breakdown. Not going to give you any perspectives. But they got their pad when you're talking. And they're going to run tell somebody 1500, and I'll show you how to write or written or whatever. If I have presented one corner of the square and they cannot come back to me with the other three, I should not go over the points again. Confucius said, I am not one who was born with knowledge. I love ancient teachings and earnestly seek it. I am not one who was born with knowledge. I love ancient teachings and earnestly seek it. Oh, this is Prophet Confucius. Just allowing you to be humble. Teaching you to be humble. Confucius taught four things: culture, conduct, loyalty, and faithfulness. Culture, conduct, loyalty, and faithfulness. Yan Hui, Confucius' favorite disciple, heaved a sigh and said, "You look up to it and it seems so high, yet you drill through it and it seems so hard. You seem to see it in front of you, and all of a sudden it appears behind you. The master is very good at gently leading a man along and teaching him. He has broadened me with culture, restrained me with ritual. I just could not stop myself. But after I have exhausted every resource, there still remains something standing distinct and apart from me. Do what I can to reach his position. I cannot find the way." Sulu asked, "Should one immediately practice what one has heard?" Confucius said. "There are father and elder brother. Why immediately practice what one has heard?" "Should one immediately practice what one has heard?" Confucius said, "One should immediately practice what one has heard." Jan Yu asked you, "Should you immediately practice what one has heard?" You said, "One should immediately practice what one has heard." I am perplexed and venture to ask you for an explanation. Confucius said, "Chiyu is retiring, therefore I urge him forward. You has heard. You has more than one man's energy, therefore I kept him back." It is man that can make the way great, and not the way that can make the man great. In education, there should be no class distinction. The superior man has 9 wishes. In seeing, he wishes to see clearly. In hearing, he wishes to hear distinctly. In his expression, he wishes to be warm. In his appearance, he wishes to be respectful. In his speech, he wishes to be sincere. In handling affairs, he wishes to be serious. When in doubt, he wishes to ask. When he is angry, he wishes to think of the resultant difficulties. And when he sees an opportunity for gain, he wishes to think of righteousness. Confucius said, "By nature, men are pretty much alike. It is learning and practice that set them apart." Confucius said, "One who is not a man of humanity cannot endure adversity for very long, nor can he enjoy prosperity for long. The man of humanity is naturally at ease with humanity. The man of wisdom cultivates humanity for its advantage. If you set your mind on humanity, you will be free from evil. Wealth and honor are what every man desires, but if they have been obtained in violation of moral principles, they must not be kept. Poverty and humble station are what every man dislikes, but if they can be avoided only in violation of moral principles, they must not be avoided. If a superior man departs from humanity, how can he fulfill that name? A superior man never abandons humanity even for the lapse of a single meal. In moments of haste, he acts according to it. In times of difficulty and confusion, he acts according to it. I have never seen one who really loves humanity or who really hates inhumanity. One who really loves humanity will not place anything above it. One who really hates inhumanity will practice humanity in such a way that inhumanity will not have a chance to get at him. Is there anyone who is devoted his strength to humanity for as long as a single day? Perhaps there is such a case, but I have never seen it. The man of wisdom delights in water. The man of humanity delights in mountains. The man of wisdom is active. The man of humanity is tranquil. The man of wisdom enjoys happiness. The man of humanity enjoys long life. Su Kung said, "If a ruler extensively confers benefit on the people and can bring salvation to all, what do you think of him? Would you call him a man of humanity?" Confucius said, "Why only a man of humanity? He is without doubt a sage. Even sage emperors Yao and Shun fell short of it. A man of humanity wishing to establish his own character also establishes the character of others, and wishing to be prominent himself also helps others be prominent. To be able to judge others by what is near to ourselves may be called the method of realizing humanity." Confucius said, "Is humanity far away? As soon as I want it, there it is right by me." Fan Chi asked about humanity. Confucius said, "It is to love men." He asked about knowledge. Confucius said, "It is to know men." Confucius said, a resolute scholar and a man of humanity will never seek to live at expense of injuring humanity. He would rather sacrifice his life in order to realize humanity. Didn't Noble Jolly say put your life on this? You need to sacrifice your very life in protection of the Prophet and your movement? That's Confucius teaching us. This is why he can tell Moors honor him. You notice this is the same stuff as the oral statements. You realize we were just reading the oral statements of Noble Jwali. Sister Blair said, brother said, Sister Bay of Temple number 10 said, letting us know. Letting us know that he was right in tune with the Prophet. Now again, Jwali told the people, especially the Moors, honor Confucius. Honor him. Honor him. Why? Because he had some serious ones. Well, he told us uplift fallen humanity. All he's doing is talking about humanity. And that it starts with you taking the position of recognizing that you are that. Filial piety. Filial piety, devotion to one's parents and family members, has always been a central element in Chinese life and thought. It remains so to the present day. The English expression, charity begins at home, from a Chinese point of view, is quite literally true. This is because the Confucian idea is that a person learns to be loving through experiencing life in his family. Becoming a moral person depends on extending to others in an even widening circle the love and consideration that are fostered in a natural way in the family itself. For Confucius, our being moral is grounded in the most basic human feelings. A disciple named Yujo said, few of those who are filial sons and respectful brothers will show disrespect to superiors, and there has never been a man who is not disrespectful to superiors and yet creates disorder. A superior man is devoted to the fundamental. When the root is firmly established, the moral law will grow. Filial piety and brotherly respect are the root of humanity. Young men shall be filial when at home and respectful to their elders when away from home. They should be earnest and faithful. They should love all extensively and be intimate with men of humanity. When they have any energy to spare after the performance of moral duties, They should use it to study literature and the arts. You, Joe, asked about filial piety. Confucius said, filial piety nowadays means to be able to support one's parents, but we support even dogs and horses. If there is not feeling of reverence, wherein lies the difference? Confucius said, in serving his parents, a son may greatly remonstrate with them. When he sees that they are not inclined to listen to him, he should resume an attitude of reverence and not abandon his efforts to serve them. He may feel worried, but does not complain. Let's put that one out there again. If there's any children listening. In serving his parents, a son may gently remonstrate with them. When he sees that they are not inclined to listen to him, he should resume an attitude of reverence and not abandon his effort to serve them. He may feel worried but does not complain. And again, these are even the lessons that were in the family. The number that they did on us, taking away all these lessons. No wonder prophets had to come in order for the people to find their way. And as we know, prophets came to everybody who needed some type of deliverance. And again, we go to chapter 25, the Holy Covenant. We're literally talking about filial piety. Honor thy father and mother. Honor thy brother and sister. Family. Nationhood. Body politic. Community. People with common unity. The Duke of Shi told Confucius, in my country, there is an upright man named Kung. When his father stole a sheep, he bore witness against him. Confucius said, the upright men in my community are different from this. The father conceals the misconduct of the son, and the son conceals the misconduct of the father. Uprightness is to be found in this. Yeah, it comes back to family. That's why them people never fail. Everybody else, they're not dry snitching on each other. Why? It's my family. Always remember, never forget the freaking bar fight back in the day. Then after the bar fight, the two Europeans were just smashing each other, are hugging each other when the police come talking about, oh yeah, We just had too much to drink or whatever. Oh, it's all right. You don't have to call ambulance or anything like that. I'll just put my shirt on it. And these people just left, went about their business. And then these guys just said sorry, and then they just went different directions. Family. Not dry snitching on each other just because they can or they know something. They're looking after their own. Whatever they call you out quick fast. You can't even barbecue certain places. They're gonna go call their boy to come get you. You can't even barbecue. They're calling 911 quick fast. But their own is right there, over there, barbecuing too, and they're not calling on them. And you think that it's not real? It is real. Government. For Confucius, morality and government were so closely related that it was scarcely possible to think about them separately. As you read the following selections, try to form your own idea about the kind of government Confucius was advocating and its possible strengths and weaknesses. Right? So this is more than a chat or whatever, so when people watch later, they could, see some conversation. Form your own idea about the kind of government Confucius was advocating and its possible strengths and weaknesses. Confucius said, lead the people with governmental measures and regulate them with laws and punishment, and they will avoid wrongdoing, but will have no sense of honor and shame. Lead them with virtue and regulate them by rules of propriety, and they will have a sense of shame and moreover set themselves right. So when you lead people with governmental measures, acts, ordinances, codes, etc., and regulate them with laws and punishment, build prison industrial complexes and have people in there for dimes of weed or whatever, they will avoid wrongdoings because, who really wants to go in the big house or whatever, but will have no sense of honor and shame, which is why it's a prison industrial complex, because it's a revolving door. The average individual who's been in there, that's all they know. When they get out here, they're not trying to deal with what's out here. They're going to be in there comfortably. That's the revolving door created because they had these institutions that people have been talking about. That all types of people have finance in these institutions. But if you lead them with virtue, remember, and then again you go back to the Holy Quran, to the morals. Remember, he said, lead them with virtue and regulate them by rules of propriety. Right? So for all that, you go to holy instructions and warnings for all young men. Marriage instructions for man and wife from noble prophet. Instructions from the prophet, duty of a husband. Holy instructions for children, the obedience of children toward their father. Instructions on unity. Holy instructions of the prophet, social duties. Holy instructions of the prophet, charity. Holy instructions of the prophet, sincerity. Holy instructions of the prophet, insufficiency of knowledge. Lead them with virtue and regulate them by rules of propriety, and you will have a sense, and they will have a sense of shame, and moreover, set themselves right. They become their own judge, jury, and executioner. That's what we were talking about earlier, about let them cut their own hand off if they do something messed up. Which again goes back to those cultures where you take your own finger off. Oh, you snitch? Take a finger. Just pick one. Here's the knife. Ginsu, sword, whatever. Su Kong asked about government. Confucius said, sufficient food, sufficient armament, and sufficient confidence of the people. Su Kong said, forced to give up one of these, which would you abandon first? Confucius said, I would abandon armament. Su Kong said, forced to give up one of the remaining two, which would you abandon first? Confucius said, I would abandon food. There have been deaths from time immemorial, but no state can exist without the confidence of the people. Duke Qing asked Confucius about government. Confucius replied, let the ruler be a ruler, the minister be a minister, the father be a father, the son or let the ruler be a ruler, the minister be a minister, the father be a father, and the son be a son. The Duke said, excellent. Indeed, when the ruler is not a ruler, the minister is not a minister, the father not a father, the son not a son, although I may have all the grain, shall I ever get to eat it? Shi Kangsu, a great official of Confucius' native state of Lu, asked Confucius about government. Confucius replied, to govern is to rectify. If you lead the people by being rectified yourself, who will dare not be rectified? Shi Kang asked Confucius about government, saying, what do you think of killing the wicked and associating with the good? Confucius replied, in your government, what is the need of killing? If you desire what is good, the people will be good. The character of a ruler is like wind, and that of the people is like grass. In whatever direction the wind blows, the grass always bends. Confucius said, if a ruler sets himself right, he will be followed without his command. If he does not set himself right, even his commands will not be obeyed. When Confucius was traveling to Wei Zhangdu, Zhan Yu drove him. Confucius observed, what a dense population. Zhan Yu said, the people have grown so numerous. What next should be done for them? Enrich them, was the reply. And when one has enriched them, what should be done next? Confucius said, educate them. Religious life. It is often said that the Chinese people are not religious. The reason given for this is that the traditional Chinese society was essentially Confucian, and Confucius did not teach people to have faith in a higher being or power. As you read the following selections, Try to form your own opinion about whether this view is valid or not. As you read, you will find references to sacrifices and rituals. Sacrifices were ceremonies performed before, during, and long after the time of Confucius in honor of ancestors who have died. The ceremonies took different forms at different times and places, but the unifying element was that the person performing the sacrifice felt a depth of love and gratitude to those who had gone before him. Rituals included a whole variety of practices that had to do with all aspects of life, from eating and sleeping to receiving guests and offering prayers for good crops. You might try to think about whether these practices can be considered religious or not. If so, in what sense? When Confucius offered sacrifices to his ancestors, he felt as if his ancestors' spirits were actually present. When he offered sacrifices to other spiritual beings, he felt as if they were actually present. He said, "If I do not participate in the sacrifice, it is as if I did not sacrifice at all." Su Kong said, "We can hear our master's views on culture and its manifestation, but we cannot hear his views on human nature and the way of heaven, because these subjects are beyond the comprehension of most people." Fan Chi asked about wisdom. Confucius said, "Devote yourself earnestly to the duties due to men, and respect spiritual beings, but keep them at a distance. This may be called wisdom." Fan Chi asked about humanity. Confucius said, "The man of humanity, first of all, considers what is difficult in the task and then thinks of success. Such a man may be called humane." Confucius never discusses strange phenomena, physical exploits, disorder, or spiritual beings. Confucius was very ill. Sulu asked that a prayer be offered. Confucius said, "Is there such a thing?" Sulu replied, "A eulogy says, pray to the spiritual beings above and below." Confucius said, "My prayer has been for a long time. That is what counts in this life that one leads." When Confucius was in personal danger in Kwang, he said, "Since the death of King Wen, it is not the course of culture in my keeping. If it had been the will of heaven to destroy this culture, it would not have been given to a mortal like me. But if it is the will of heaven that this culture should not perish, what can the people of Kwang do to me?" Hence his stuff still around today. Though his thought be coarse rice and vegetable broth, Confucius variably offered a little in sacrifice and always with solemnity. Chi Lu asked about serving the spiritual beings. Confucius said, "If we are not yet able to serve man, how can we serve spiritual beings?" I venture to ask about death. Confucius said, "If we do not yet know about life, Chi Yu asked about serving the spiritual beings." Confucius said, "If we are not yet able to serve man, how can we serve spiritual beings?" I venture to ask about death. Confucius said, "If we do not yet know about life, how can we know about death?" Suma Nu, worrying, said, all people have brothers, but I have none. Su Sai said, I have heard from Confucius this saying, life and death are the decree of heaven. Wealth and honor depend on heaven. If a superior man is reverential or serious without fail, and is respectable and is respectful in dealing with others and follows the rules of propriety, then all within the four seas, the world, are brothers. What does the superior man have to worry about having no brothers? This is for those Moors who might be in the jurisdiction where it's just them. I'm the only Moor here. I'm the only Moor here. If a superior man is serious without fail and is respectful in dealing with others and follows the rules of propriety, then all within the four seas are brothers. What does the superior man have to worry about having no brothers? Suma Nu, worrying, said, all people have brothers. No. Confucius said, alas, no one knows me. Su Kong said, why is there no one that knows you? Confucius said, I do not complain against heaven. I do not blame men. I study things on the lower level, but my understanding penetrates the higher level. It is heaven that knows me. Confucius said, I do not wish to say anything. Su Kong said, if you do not say anything, what can we little disciples ever learn to pass on to others? Confucius said, does heaven say anything? The four seasons run their course and all things are produced. Does heaven say anything? Confucius went in. Confucius went in. Analects on rulers and leadership. Analects on rulers and leadership. The master said, if the noble person is not serious, he will not inspire awe, nor will his learning be sound. One should abide in loyalty and trustworthiness, and should have no friends who are not his equal. If one has faults, one should not be afraid to change. The master said, lead them by means of regulations, and keep order among them through punishments, and the people will evade them and will lack any sense of shame. Lead them through moral force, and keep order among them through rights, and they will have a sense of shame and will also correct themselves. The ruler should employ the ministers according to ritual. The minister should serve the ruler with loyalty. In sections on Wanzhong, minister to the first hegemon, Du Quan Qi, the master said, Zhuanggang was a man of small capacities. Someone responded, But was he not 30? Zhuanggang had 3 residents, said the master. What thrift was there in that? The ruler of a state sets up a screen before his gate. Zhuangzong did likewise. The ruler of a state possesses a drinking stand for the ceremony of inverted cups, so that he may properly entertain rulers of other states. Yet Zhuangzong also possessed such a stand. If Zhuangzong knew Li, then who does not know? Analects. Nine life lessons based on the philosophy of Confucius. 9 life lessons based on the philosophy of Confucius. 1. Just keep going. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you don't stop. If you keep going down the right path, you will eventually get to your intended destination. The hard work is being consistent. Anybody can do right for a day. The person who succeeds is the person who stays committed despite the circumstances. 2. Your friends matter. Never contract friendship with a man that is not better than thyself. Your friends are a prophecy of your future. Where they are is where you're headed. It would serve you well to find friends who are going where you want to go. 3. Good things come with a price. It is easy to hate and it is difficult to love. This is how the whole scheme of things work. All good things are difficult to achieve. The bad things are very easy to get. It's easy to hate. It's easy to be negative. It's easy to make excuses. Is it love, forgiveness, and greatness that require a great heart, a great mind, and a great effort? 4. Sharpen your tools first. The expectations of life depend on diligence. The mechanic that would perfect his work must first sharpen his tools. Workshop of the mind. Study, study, study. All that stuff. Confucius said, success depends on previous preparation, and without such preparation, there is sure to be failure. Whatever you are called to do, if you are to succeed, you must first be prepared. Success depends on previous preparation. You know, Judge Ali tell these Moors, get ready before you're made to get ready. That's Confucius. 5. To be wronged is nothing. To be wronged is nothing unless you continue to remember it. To be wronged is nothing unless you continue to remember it. Don't sweat the small stuff. To be wronged is of no great offense. Don't let the wrongdoing of others ruin your day. Don't let their negativity occupy your thoughts. To be wronged is nothing. To be wronged is nothing. To be wronged is nothing. Just remember, to be wronged is nothing. 6. Consider the consequences. When anger rises, think of the consequences. Solomon said, "He that is slow to anger is greater than the mighty." Always remember to keep your temper in check and to consider the consequences. 7. Make adjustments. When it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. When it is obvious that the goal cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. If it looks like you're going to make your goals this year, now would be a good time to adjust your plan. Don't accept failure as an option. Adjust your sails, and you will sail safely to your goal. 8. You can learn from everyone. If I am walking with 2 other men, each of them will serve as my teacher. I will pick out the good points of the one and imitate them, and the bad points of the other and correct them in myself. You can and should learn from everyone, be it a crook or a saint. Every life is a story filled with lessons ripe for picking. 9. All or none. Wherever you go, go with all your heart. Whatever you do it with everything, or don't do it at all. To succeed in life requires your very best. Give your very best, and you will live without regrets. 10 powerful life lessons based on the philosophy of this Chinese thinker. It does not matter how slow you go, as long as you do not stop. If you hate a person, then you're defeated by them. If you hate a person, then you're defeated by them. What the superior man seeks is in himself. What the small man seeks is in others. Give instructions only to those people who seek knowledge after they have discovered their ignorance. Give instructions only to those people who seek knowledge after they have discovered their ignorance. Give instructions only to those people who seek knowledge after they have discovered their ignorance. If they haven't discovered their ignorance, you don't have to give them anything. You're not obligated to, because you're going to give it to them and they're going to be useless because they're ignorant. If they spit at you behind your back, it means you're ahead of them. That was a good one. If they spit at you behind your back, it means you're ahead of them. Looking at small advantages prevents great affairs from being accomplished. Looking at small advantages prevents great affairs from being accomplished. Confucius had me going on the horse. I keep forgetting to give you more as a new picture to look at. 5 stages of the awakening process. The awakening. You may find yourself experiencing a synchronistic moment that unlocks something that was hidden within you. A remembering happens that gives you a broader understanding of your path, purpose, and potential in this life. This moment may be experienced through a psychedelic experience, your yoga practice, a meditation, a connection to a new teacher, a book, a documentary. There is no one specific type of moment that the awakening process occurs through, but when it happens, you know your appetite to know becomes more insatiable. Two, the alarm clock. After you have found yourself awake, you begin to view life before your awakening as though it was just a dream. When you step outside of the matrix and see with this new vision, you may feel an urgency to be the alarm clock by trying to wake up those who are still asleep. It becomes impossible to understand how you ever lived with a different point of view, and relating to others still stuck in the mindset becomes very frustrating. You may find that those who are sleeping are not ready to be woken and would prefer to hit the snooze button. Let them sleep. The purge. As you are devouring a whole new set of programming, knowledge, and understanding, you may find yourself wanting to purge all of the information you are learning. It is important to be aware that although it is perfectly fine to binge on new books, movies, documentaries, etc., be aware that you should avoid the purge. Be mindful and retain the information you absorb and allow it to be your spiritual nourishment. The key during this step is to understand that you cannot create anyone else's reality aside from your own. You cannot create anyone else's reality aside from your own. To truly be the alarm clock, there is no need to sound off and purge ears that are not open to receive. The best way to facilitate an awakening for others is to lead by example. Remember I said be active, not passive, right? There is nothing you need to do. You must only be, because the being is the doing. You know what I'm saying? Be what you know. And no what Jolly told these Moors, be what you know. Acceptance. The quote by Manly P. Hall stating, "Experiences are the chemicals with which the philosopher experiments," is the key to acceptance. No matter how much you learn, devour, remember, and appreciate, the only way to integrate all of what you are experiencing in your evolution of consciousness is to experience it in your three-dimensional reality. With this new way of thought, you will find that your reality becomes fresh and new. You will start attracting new friends and experiences, which will ultimately lead to your acceptance of your role in the karmic wheel of life that will always spin with or without you sounding the alarm to the sleepy people. So regardless, they're going to sleep. Don't worry. Regardless, they're going to sleep. If any chat people got questions, you could send those up. You got about 15 minutes. 5, understanding and enlightenment. When the awakening first happened, you may have found that you felt an extremely strong need to put a name to the new spiritual you. Whether the name resonated with Buddhists, Hinduism, Kabbalism, Wiccan, New Age, cosmically conscious, galactic, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. When your understanding of spirit is fully integrated, you become to realize that to be truly enlightened, you do not need a label or a name. The universe, just like your consciousness and understanding, is ever expanding. And once you box yourself with a label or name, then you become limited to the name, and the ability to expand becomes constricted. That's why we say title and appellation. We don't play name because that's the boxing. And if you're going to say name, you're going to say free national before it. Just like if you're going to say person, you're going to put natural before it. In spirituality as well as science, nothing ever is completely true or false, but only plausible until proven otherwise. Living in a dualistic reality of everything needing to either be right or wrong, good or bad, black or white, is living in a place of misunderstanding. Living in a dualistic reality of everything needing to either be right or wrong, good or bad, black or white, is living in a place of misunderstanding. Understanding is knowing that there is no good or bad, no black or white, no right or wrong, no permanence besides impermanence, and the only thing that there really exists is the is all that ever was, that ever will be, and that ever can be. The is impossible to name. To be the is to know that within every school of thought there is a teacher, and that your purpose on this planet is to forever remain a student because your potential as a universe is infinite. This is not to fear or be frustrated about. This is the exciting part of life, that this is forever a journey, and the destination is never final. To be enlightened is to be able to be at peace with the is, and to find the beauty in every moment, person, experience, and lesson. Because no matter how dark life may get, if your light is always shining, you will always find your way. No matter how dark life may get, if your light is always shining, you will always find your way. Be appreciative of the adversity. Be appreciative of the adversity and grateful for the beauty, because you're going to be fine. Ain't no worries about nothing. Everything's going to be straight. That's why you're here. You thought you were going somewhere else, but no, that's why you're here. Now, Brother Will of L, I just saw your question right there with regard to the headdress and turban. That's not letter. Like the Moore said, that's Constitution. You got First Amendment right to religion. That's just what it is. Right? If they have if they have what do you call it? A boss, trust me, boss knows. You're probably talking to a clerk or somebody. That's why they tried to punk you, that you can't wear that and all that type of stuff. Right? Because remember that there's always gatekeepers whose duty is to keep you from exercising your birthright in the realms of what they call government, which is really corporate activity. But even in the corporate jurisdiction, people have right to religion, because I bet you if there's a Muslim that works there, they're going to go pray there 5 times a day, and they're not telling them nothing about they can't pray and all that. So how dare they tell you about you can't wear something? And again, if they go there, they're violating Constitution. So it just lets you know how far this thing has gone, with people not enforcing Constitution on people they should be enforcing it on, and now their chest is big because they've been pushing acts and statutes and all that for the past few hundred years, and people fell for it. So that's what the law is. No, not really. It doesn't go like that. That was a good try though, but that's not how it runs. And just like what was the movie the jail movie? And dude was writing letters to get the library, and he had to write a year's worth of letters before they said, okay, fine. That's what's going on with regard to things like that. If they try to pull some stuff on you, you give them thunder in the ass, boy. Thunder for them. Don't ease up. Exactly. They'll never tell Mr. Singh take off his turban. Never. They wouldn't even dare attempt. But again, we've been Negro black colored for so long that once they see us, they think it's normal that we're that. And then that's where it comes into being what that as soon as they try to pull some stuff, you can go in your little mental archives, pull out little stuff on them. What's that name tag? Your name's Schneider. You're Schneider, huh? Yeah. Well, Schneider, I know a little bit about you. You got a religion. What's your religion? Oh, well, that's your religion, huh? So you're back there with a religion, and you're telling me that I can't exercise my religion, but you're back there with a religion exercising? Let's see, you got a cross around your neck or whatever like that. You're exercising your religion. Why are you violating me? Again, unfortunately, there's work to do. So don't get mad when they try stuff or whatever. That's just one. It's that's how they do, because majority of our people not at this point. You're late. Your boat had left the dock in 2012 or something. Just getting on, you're late. You're behind. So a lot of stuff has gone on. You go check the archives, see all the madness that's gone on up until this point where you're coming in now. You're thinking, oh yeah, this is legit. I'm just gonna say this whatever, and they're gonna give me my whatever. No, it ain't going like that. It's not going like that. These people know that we are the key to the whole stuff falling. Again, if they can get our people to think that the ones with the finance are the ones that are the gods or whatever. Because, people still going to get caught up, because they're watching chains and Gucci stuff, and he got the, oh, look at those shoes that he's got. Oh, oh wow, that we got 5 cars and all that stuff. They think that's something. That's nothing. You know, and again, you know, when we talk about enforce the Constitution and be what you know, those things are relative. So you're not going to, like, like I saw on this Moore said, you want to know where the info came from, what the source is. You want to have the knowledge. You don't want to be guessing. Right? You don't want to be guessing. Because being sure is going to end majority of the BS that you might have dealt with. Because once you're sure, or once you know and you're firm in what you've acquired as far as knowledge, that changes your aura. So now they're hitting you, but you see them coming before they even start getting ready to do their wind up and, you know what I mean, make their 5-strike move. You already got them blocked, 6 blocks to their 5 strikes. Just for the simple fact that you know. Right? Like the more with there was a more that was going through some it was some child support or something. So there was a warrant or something. So they go to the domicile, just knock on the door or whatever, asking for the straw. He's talking to them through the door. No, I don't know who that is. That's not whatever, I mean, I am, Bay and all that. That's not you saying that you're here for that. I know what you guys are trying to do, and you're not going to do it. I'm not opening the door because I know what you're trying to do. You guys got a fake warrant. You didn't put my real appellation on the warrant. You put some other stuff that you got from whatever. Other side of the door now is talking. So you're a Moor. You said that you're a Bay? Okay, where's this land called? It's land called. It's northwest of Mexham. You heard through the door the paper ripping and then the steps walking away. And then never heard from them ever again. Because he knew. It's like the mother going through her BS. In the court, going through back and forth, go back, come back, go back. Judge finally said, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm going to ask you one question. Do you live in the city of whatever? Can you repeat the question? I didn't hear you. Do you, whatever Bay, live in the city of whatever? No, I don't. Case dismissed. That was that. Everything's done. Tired of this. Because that individual knew. Now, some novice go up there, they start talking about, well, I live in the body, and then start talking crazy. Now they want to give you psychological assessment or whatever like that, when all you have to do was say no. And that's it. Nothing else. No breakdown. No open up law dictionary, show them all the stuff and all that. No sending writs and all that stuff. None of that. That was it. Oh, sorry. Okay, that stuff's done. And they're not going out broadcasting and all that stuff. Because That's just them being themselves. That's not no big deal. That's like the more goes to the birds from the East store. You can go in the back, get his all stuff, pay them next week. There ain't no big deal. They're hunting him down. Where's the money and all that? You don't have to go in the line. Just go get what his stuff, bring it to the front, they put it in the bag, and he goes about his business. Just because. Being what they know. Not guessing. Not, oh, I saw a guy in a video and he said that in order to be a Moor, you have to. So I went and I did, and then they beat my ass or whatever. And that guy stole my, oh no, that's your bad. Don't call him out now because you didn't have no problem when you were running to him. Now you got your ass beat. Now you're complaining about something. Are you complaining now? You weren't complaining when stuff was running smooth. When everything seemed good. You weren't complaining. Now you're talking BS. No, too late. Can't talk crazy now. Islam to all the Moors. Don't forget, it's on your nationality card, Moors. We honor all true and divine prophets. Speaking about that, Brother Jakush, I know the stuff didn't get there yet. So I know these people are playing around. So just send me a straw mailing location, and we'll send it there and get the stuff to you. Islam to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love to all Moors. And again, because you're going to see the video getting floating around over the next few days, Canaanland Moors video going to have, 200, and everybody else who showed the stuff, they're going to have 20 million and all that. Just remember, Mother echoed the words of Noble Drew Ali in the Ministry of Death. So don't play around like people don't know and like you're not being told, even though you're being told in code. Because obviously people, no nationality, they're going to be hush mouth. They're scared to talk. They're going to let their actions talk. But they're not going to say anything out their mouth or whatever. But they're going to have Moorish beard going all over the place. And nobody's not realizing, why does he have a Moorish beard? Why is he in a beard gang? Because that's Muslims. You have beard gang. It's not Negroes playing street whatever. Remember, they can't talk. Because they've gotten, the Don already bought 50,000 CDs or whatever from him and all that. Don already gave the family 150 mil for the family. So, don't think there's no club stuff going on. People know exactly what's going on. They have their own little stuff going on. Still, again, keeping you out. And Mother came and told you, don't worry about anything. Death is no enemy. Don't worry about all this stuff. Confucius told you, don't worry about all that. People got finance and stuff like that. That means something. No. What good are they doing? It's like we say, what 10 things have you done for your nation? And then don't go tell nobody. You go look in the mirror and go name off the 10 things you did for your nation proudly. And if you're even scared to look in the mirror, you already know you better go get that Quran, start reading. You can't even look in the mirror and say, much less say your free national name, appellation, title. Can't even say the 10 things you did for your nation. That's an issue. Even if we say for a nation, we're not just talking, you know, what you did for Moors or whatever. What have you done for some of these people out here who have nothing? Did you help that lady with her bags? Did you hold that door for that old lady? You know, did you help whoever off the bus with her cane and her 500 bags or whatever? Or you just sat there looking or caught up in your phone video game BS? Not even missing humanity yelling at you so you can get some karmic credit. Missing it. You're too busy in your hand. Like this is goddamn Star Trek or something. Life is going on around you. Be cognizant. Don't just be conscious. Don't be following these people. Listen to mother. Listen to mother. Join us 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Moorish Heritage and History School, Eyes Wide Open. Every Tuesday, 9:30. It's a call-in show, so you can call in, you know, ask your questions and all that stuff so that, you know, you can get some answers. Call-in number 319-527-6751. 319-527-6751 and 425-569-5201. 425-569-5201. If you don't have long distance capabilities, you can go to blogtalkradio.com//MHHS-Eyes Wide Open and be there from 9:30 to 11:30. And then tomorrow, you can check the archive for the last hour because the live internet stream cuts off at 11:30. So after this, you can go get your little tea, do your little detox, and get ready for 9:30. You got 20 minutes. If you are doing by phone, just remember you got 5 minutes to call in because the line fills up fast and you don't want to be locked out, stuck, having to listen for only 2 hours when you could get 3. So keep studying, Moors. Don't forget, nomoredaily.com. Get your Islam, get your I'm Not Black merchandise. rvbaypublications.com. Just get your studying on. Just go on there, look up stuff. morrisdirectory.com. Make sure you go there. Take in something. You'll definitely leave with something. Just go into those spots. And then all these other people out here talking crazy, you know, pay them no mind. Oh yeah, don't forget Obashanga L. Obashango L. And make sure you look up Brother Asir, the Duke of Tears. He got some stuff on YouTube that you'll definitely get something out of. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide, anywhere you're at, anywhere that you're at. Peace and love to you. Islam to all the chat Moors. I haven't heard any or seen anybody acting crazy in a little while. So the chat mufti is always on their job. Islam to you, Moors. And like we say, study, study, study. Keep uplifting fallen humanity. And supreme honors to our illustrious prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us the lesson, for bringing us the divine lesson. We honor all divine prophets. We honor all divine prophets. Muhammad, Jesus, Buddha, and Confucius. Islam was peace and love.